last meeting, a motion was brought forth relative to Lily Ponitz's termination from the committee. The 10-day notice was sent out to Ms. Ponitz, both via email, on which all of you were copied, as well as via mail, so that a hard copy was received. That being said, that 10-day notice period has expired. And as promised, we would revisit that topic here today on our June 21st meeting. So with that, the motion was originally made by Ms. Sharon Williams. I will ask if we can restate the motion so that we can move forward with this proceeding.
Sure. So the motion was to terminate Lily Ponitz's membership on the committee in accordance with our bylaws and in consultation with Atlanta City Legal Counsel.
Okay. Thank you very much. And during the last meeting when that motion was made, Ms. Ann Phillips, you seconded the motion. Can I have you go ahead for procedural purposes, second the motion again here tonight?
Motion is second.
Thank you, Ms. Phillips. With that, the question before the committee is whether or not to terminate Ms. Lily Ponitz's membership on the committee in accordance with our bylaws and in consultation with Atlanta City Legal Counsel. With that, I will put the question to the committee so that debate may be opened at this point. I will ask just that we abide by a couple of rules as we move through this so that we don't spend the entire evening on this process, and to make sure that we move through this in an appropriate and respectful way. So just to lay a couple of quick ground rules, members should be recognized by the chair before taking the floor. Any discussion needs to be relevant to the immediately pending question. No member should speak more than twice on each debatable motion. If you're wishing to speak, you need to, or each member should be given an opportunity to speak at least once, should they wish, before a member can take the floor for a second time. This is something that we've exercised throughout the process. I'm going to ask that each member limit their comments to a total of 2 minutes. That way we can move through this, without eating up the entire evening's meeting with this. All remarks need to be addressed to the chair, no cross debate, and it is not permissible to speak against one's own motion, but you can vote against your own motion should you so choose. And then lastly, the debate must address issues and not personalities. No one is permitted to make personal attacks or question the motives of other speakers. All of that is outlined in Robert's Rules of Order, and I will ask that we all abide by that. Historically, that has not been a challenge for the committee, so I will ask that we move through with that process. Ms. Ann Phillips, I see that your hand is raised. Is your hand raised to speak on the motion? I think she's frozen here. Oh, there we go.
Madam Chair, if it's appropriate, I'd like to ask that Ms. Ponitz be allowed to speak before we go into debate, since she has received the 10-day notice and she understands what issues are. I'm assuming she understands. I think that it would be appropriate to give her an opportunity to speak first.
Okay. Thank you for that, Ms. Phillips. What I will say is, Madam Co-Chair, Ms. Williams, because you brought the motion, you would be afforded the floor first. If you are willing to defer to Ms. Ponitz to speak first, then we will move forward accordingly.
I'm comfortable allowing Ms. Ponitz to speak first.
Absolutely.
We had the discussion last time, and Madam Chair, I just want everyone to know I will be timing, so they may hear a timer going off in the background.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Sharon. Ms. Ponitz, the chair recognizes you to take the floor.
Great. Yeah, thanks, Anne and Shannon. So I think I don't have a whole lot to add apart from what I sent over email a couple of days ago. And I think that just in seeing, I wasn't here in the last meeting, and just seeing the discussion that took place in some notes, I felt that there was not much acknowledgement of the expertise and the experience that I bring to the committee, and perhaps why, I have a different viewpoint. And so I felt that maybe reiterating that I am an environmental engineer, I have worked on site development permits and site remediation permits, and have a good understanding of what the environmental due diligence process should be in an ideal world, means that maybe I'm more critical, and that my explanation really for why my critical comments are out there in the press is because I expressed them on this committee. And I also thought it was important for transparency for others who are following this project to understand that these questions are being asked, and just understand that there is somebody representing the voice of the people who are concerned about the environmental and the ethical implications of this project. So that's how I feel I operate in this committee in terms of offering some accountability and some transparency. And it seemed like perhaps other people in the committee were made uncomfortable by that, and I never intended for that to be the outcome, but I understand that some of you felt that I was maybe speaking on your behalf, which was not my intention. I just want to, be a part of this because I think that I bring a perspective that is really critical and really important, and shutting me out at this point after I've offered a lot of input on the reports that have been given to us feels wrong. Honestly, it just feels like it's a bypassing of somebody who could be helping provide accountability. So yeah, that's all I want to say. Thanks for giving me the floor.
And Madam Chair, just please note, more than 2 minutes went by, but I wanted to let her finish.
Absolutely. And I think after last meeting, given the fact that all of us had an opportunity to speak and she did not, it's appropriate that she be allowed to go over that 2 minutes and be able to speak on her own behalf. So Lily, thank you for your comments, and Sharon, thank you for the notation on time. With that, would anyone else like to take the floor? I see that Ms. Culp, your hand is raised.
Yes,
You're recognized. Please take the floor.
I have some concerns about some of the articles that Lily has published with different newspapers. And for me, I just feel like we have a responsibility as an advisory committee to the members to make sure that we, especially the residents, to make sure that we give out accurate information. And sometimes giving that accurate information to the public is what we're really supposed to stand for as an advisory committee. I'm a little concerned about the danger of some of the articles because we have a lot of people now that's really going up against this project. And we've got some crazies out there that, sort of lurking around in trees and assaulting contractors, et cetera, et cetera. So I've been very uncomfortable with some of the things that have been said. And I want to make sure that, what's going out to the public is accurate in terms of, what's being printed actually coming from our advisory committee. And I just think that at this time, for me, I'm just very much concerned, in other words. And I think that the people that are presenting the information to us, they were hired to do so. And I understand Lily being an engineer, environmental engineer, but our job here is to make sure that we advise from a community standpoint. And some of the other things that have been brought into this particular situation really doesn't apply to us. But when you read articles, it's almost like, we're not being, open and honest about what is going on. So that's my main concern. It is for me. I just feel like we need to move forward as a advisory committee member.
Thank you for your comments, Pat. I appreciate that. Miss Amy Taylor, I see that your hand is raised. The chair recognizes you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't know about everybody, but I have received several emails from people in the community in favor of Lily staying on this committee because of her unique experience and her ability to recognize certain things that a lot of people without her training are not going to recognize as far as environmental impact. And we are here to support and represent our communities. And they are, I don't know if you guys got those emails, but I sure did. And they do not want Lily to go. They want her to stay on because she has unique experience and understands the reports that we've gotten as far as environmental impact. So it just seems to me that we're here to serve the community, and taking Lily off of the committee would probably have even bigger impact than some of the things that have been put out there in the press. That's all.
Madam Chair, it looks like you're on mute.
Sorry, my apologies. My statements were, thank you, Amy, for your commentary. And then I also saw that Mr. Billingsley had his hand raised, so I would like to allow him to take the floor.
Yes, I like myself, Amy, I received emails also. And also working in a community, community project like this, we're not gonna all get along and have the same ideas. So I also am against removing Lily Ponitz. She may not be everyone's cup of tea, but her work is different, and it's just, this is part of what it is when you work on a project like this. Some people are gonna have different viewpoints. And that's what I kind of want. That I want somebody who's not going to see the same way I am, so it can bring me around and see the way she's thinking. Now, at the end, we are going to have to come to a consensus. But to remove somebody because we don't all agree, that's just not right. I don't agree with everything that everybody has to say, but I'm not going to start a motion to remove someone because, to me, I think generational divide. Yes, I think people they think differently than I do on the committee, but I respect it. So that's just how I view things. I'm going to vote no. I want to keep on.
Madam Chair, you're still muted.
My apologies, guys. Shaun, thank you for your comments. I see that Ms. Nicole Morato has her hand raised. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Allison. Yeah, I just want to sort of second some of the last few statements from Amy and Shaun and say that I agree that, of course, Lily's input is very unique and her expertise is welcome. And, sort of the obvious external, Amy, I did get those emails as well. So knowing that these things are just concerns of the public and that they just need to be addressed in some way or the other, and sort of just making sure that this committee kind of gives a space for that, which Lily is, sort of asking for. So yes, I sort of think it is in our best interest to keep Lily on the committee.
Thank you, Nicole. I see Ms. Ophelia Lee, your hand is raised. The floor is yours. I see her screen looks like it might be frozen at the moment. Ms. Lee, can you hear me? Okay, I will circle back around to her when her screen comes back in. With that, is there anyone else that would like to take the floor? Oh, I think, Ophelia, did you just come back to us?
Stop if I move the whole thing.
Oh, there you are. We're just now hearing you. If you could start again.
Okay. Now, I was just saying that I'm kind of confused as to now why are we trying to vote her in or out? Now, I was under the impression that Lily made some comments during the time we all were supposed to have been not speaking to the press, our neighbors, or no one until we were told it was time. So Lily did, did she go out before that time and say something to the press? Is this why, I mean, I'm kind of confused now, because see, her education ain't got nothing to do with when we saying, don't speak to the press before your time. How, you know, I'm just kind of confused at what, now why are we trying to get rid of this woman? Help me, somebody, I'm sorry.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
May I clarify the reason why the motion was made and try to do it succinctly? I just want to make sure I started the timer on myself. The motion was made not because of different opinion nor technical expertise. And whether she's on the committee or not, she can still continue to express her views as a citizen, as a member of a community. I'm sure that there are advisory board members here who would listen to her and offer up her opinions, but it was because of the modality of how she communicated that it disparaged the work of the committee, and it disparaged the work of our technical team. And I'd also, just in the name of transparency, all of the issues that she raised were addressed by the advisory committee and by our engineers that we are working with. So it's not about a difference of opinion, because a difference of opinion is very important to our civil discourse, but it's the modality that disparaged this group, and particularly in the context of the environmental terrorists who are hurting this overall initiative. And lastly, we are not here to discuss whether or not the police academy will be built, but that it will be built in concert with community input, and that we should not be talking to the press or speaking on behalf of the committee unless the committee has indeed created an opinion.
Thank you, Madam Co-Chair, for explaining the purpose of the motion and the debate, or a little bit of the debate that took place last week. Ms. Lee, does that give you a better understanding of the purpose of the motion? Did that answer your question? If you're speaking, you're on mute. Okay, I'm not sure why it's not coming back through, but Ms. Lee, if your connection picks up and you wish to resume your comments, please just raise your hand and you will be recognized. Is there anyone else that would like to take the floor this evening? I see Ms. Phillips, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to just remind everybody that, first of all, this is a board that is considered a base board as it was established by legislation under the Atlanta City Council. As such, there are rules and regulations for participants on base boards. Every one of us has the right to think, to say, and to write whatever we feel about any topic. But realistically, when you are sitting on a base board, you have a fiduciary duty to that board. Fiduciary means you have a legal duty to that board. If you're the person committing the offense and you step back and take a look at what has been said by you and think, how would I feel if somebody wrote this kind of stuff about me, and I'm working collectively with a bunch of people who are trying to do what the city has asked them to do. When you violate your fiduciary duty, I don't care whether you're on a board or whether you're in a legal capacity, you bring harm not only to that board or that organization. You bring harm to the people who are members. As you can see, we have had from the articles and all of the insinuations, we have had people who have begun to be violent in ways that we've never seen before, destroying property, making threats against people and their families. When you write things, you need to know that what you put on paper, whether you're an author or journalist or whatever, if you're putting it on paper and you're putting it out there, your actions will have reactions. And I think this is what's going on with this board. We are having reactions to Ms. Ponitz writings, the subsequent actions that have happened as a result of not only her writings, but others from Supporter and Pundit, Peach Pundit. Essentially what has happened here is Ms. Pundit has violated her fiduciary duty to this board. And if there's somebody that doesn't quite understand exactly what I'm saying, we will then ask the chair to let us know what the legal department for the city of Atlanta had to say.
Your time. Madam Chair, you need to get off. Yeah.
I'm muted too. Yes. Thank you very much for your comments, Ms. Phillips. I was simply saying to Ms. Phillips, I could see that she was still saying something, but I could not hear what it was at the end there. Nevertheless,
no, I apologize. I was just saying I heard a noise from Sharon. I forgot that she was timing me. Okay, that's all.
Sorry about that.
Absolutely. With that, thank you both. Are there any other individuals that would like to take the floor?
Madam Chair, if I could just say one quick thing for the record that I think is important.
Absolutely.
I know we brought up earlier the emails in which people have received over the last, I guess, few days or so. And I did want to just, again, state for the record that I have also received a slew of emails from people regarding this topic, and that I have responded to each of the folks that have emailed me to make sure that it was completely clear that I do not sit on the committee. For some reason, there was a perception that I sat on the committee and I was conducting this vote in some type of way. And so I did want that to be clear for the record that I am not a member of this committee. I sit totally in the role of administration and ensuring that I continue to be the liaison between this committee, the Police Foundation, and the development team. And so I just wanted to make sure that that's clear for the public or anyone who is also listening.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Nicole, I see that your hand is raised. I will recognize you momentarily. I want to give anybody who has not had an opportunity to speak during this first round an opportunity to take the floor before I visit anybody for a second time. With that, if anyone is interested in taking the floor, please announce yourself. Ms. Jacqueline Rainey, I see your hand is raised. The floor is yours.
Yeah. Yes, I read the email from Lily, and there's a section where she says, quote, "My working speech is inspired by a desire for the truth to be told and to not let this project slide through with half-done due diligence and a rubber stamp." I don't understand that. Is she trying to say the engineers and other contractors that were hired are incompetent or unable to do their work? And is she supposed to be working with them, or is she just on the board giving advice?
Right.
I don't understand that.
Thank you for that, Ms. Rainey. Would anyone else like to take the floor?
Madam
With
Chair,
that,
yeah, just
I'm
to let
sorry?
no, just to let you know, process, Ms. Morato has 20 seconds left on her time.
Okay, if you will manage the timer for me, and I will go ahead and yield the floor to Ms. Morato. I don't see anyone else wishing to speak that did not get an opportunity to speak before we revisit Nicole for a second time, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward unless I see a hand pop up. All right, Ms. Morato, the floor is yours.
Thanks. Yeah, I was just gonna say that it might be helpful that I don't really know if the fiduciary responsibility thing, I would be hesitant to say that she's not adhering to that from a legal standpoint, just, not necessarily seeing what she's done from that standpoint fiduciarily, what that could be in conflict, and knowing that she's sort of representing these views from a technical and also
I think we
so-
reached time.
Oh, okay.
Is that what that was, Sharon?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
the timer. going.
Okay, fair enough. If you want to take a second to wrap or wrap that comment off, we'll do that very quickly. And
Yeah,
move
that's
forward.
it. I was just gonna say it's sort of the things that she was bringing up that she might feel have not been addressed to the full extent that we might feel are addressed, that there might be some disconnect there, sort of mentioning what Jacqueline was saying as well. So could be space for
Thank
clarification.
you. Thank you. Thank you, Nicole. I appreciate that. Are there any other individuals that wish to take the floor on this matter? Give it just a second. If I see no hands raised, we are going to move forward. I see Miss Ann Phillips. Sharon, do we have time left on the clock for Miss Phillips?
We don't. She used her time. I'm sorry.
Use my time, that's right. Okay.
Yes.
So if no one else has their hand up, we can vote on the motion. And I would propose that we vote by exception. So anyone who does not want Ms. Ponitz to be removed from the committee, that at least we note that for the record.
Okay, that is perfectly fine. I don't see any additional hands raised to continue the debate on this. With that, I will move the question to the committee. And again, if you have any objection to the removal of Ms. Lily Ponitz, I ask that you speak now. You may raise your hand, you may speak out. Just state your name so that we can note you for the record. I see Ms. Nicole Morato, your hand. I hear a comment. I see Ms. Nicole Morato's hand is raised. I have Ms. Amy Taylor,
Sorry,
your hand.
This is Lily.
Thank you,
Can I
Lily.
just say something quick? There are people who want to abstain from the vote. Then I think we should be going through this one by one. I don't think we should be voting by exception.
If you would like to conduct a roll call vote, we can move through. Is that your motion?
So do you want to vote on voting by roll call versus voting by exception?
Sorry, yeah, I cut out. It sounds like you heard me, Sharon.
Yeah, I did. So Madam Chair, the motion is she would like for people to vote by roll versus vote by exception. So then we would now have, this is a process vote, right? So, and the process is, do you want to vote by roll or exception? So, and I would have to go through the names to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so what we'll say is, we'll take her motion. Do you want to vote by roll? And it's yay or nay. Only one person in a community will have the vote. And it's whoever is primary. So, so Alison, you are with Boulder Walk. Is that a yay or nay on?
Excuse me, Lily, can I say something real quick?
Yep.
Lily,
Is this Shaun Billingsley?
Yes.
Okay,
This way, this kind of way doesn't give everybody a full way to vote, because Sharon will have a vote and I won't have a vote.
well,
So
no matter which process would be followed with your community, it has already been established that there's one vote between you and Sharon. Same with Starlight Heights. There's one vote between Amy and Nicole.
That's why I was complaining about this, because now we're on a matter that I figure everyone should have their vote. If we're voting as a community, as a committee, this affects everyone, but one person has a vote on this matter. So only one person has a vote on an important matter.
That's correct.
So,
That
because
is
Sharon's
correct.
taking, so Sharon has, her vote is going to matter when I don't agree with something.
That's
So
correct.
this is the issue right here.
I understand your objection, and we can address that. However, this is a matter that we brought forth before, and we set who is the voting member for each community, and that doesn't
Yeah.
change in the midst of taking another vote on another matter. So at this point, the voting members for those communities have been established. So for example, with Starlight Heights, just now, even in voting by exception, with both Amy and Nicole's hands raised, I noted them as one vote. Whereas Lily, in representation of District 6, has a vote as well. And so hers was noted as a vote. In your instance, between you and Sharon, excuse me, between you and Sharon Williams, your vote, it goes to Sharon Williams, which is something that we have dispensed with prior to today.
Yeah, I understand, but you already knew her vote was going to be to dispel Lily. And this right here, there should be an exception for this type of instance. Everyone needs a vote when you're going to try to take a member off a committee, because everyone's not going to agree. And this just isn't the time to just have one vote, one person. But like I said, you are going to do what you do right now, and it's just going to cause other issues. But go ahead.
I respect your position. Unfortunately, this is neither the time or the place for us to be able to manage this. This is something that we have addressed ad nauseum, leading up to other meetings. And so what I will say is we'll go ahead and ask that it be noted for the record that your vote would be in favor of Lily staying on this committee in the event that you would have had a vote here. But the decision has been made some time back that in representation of your community, Sharon Williams has the vote. And so if you will, Ms. Williams, for the record, please note Shaun Billingslea's position on this.
So noted. All the dissents were noted, because that's important to note in the record, just so you know, from a parliamentary procedure perspective.
Okay, thank you very much. And then we also have the call for a roll call vote. I am perfectly content to move forward with a roll call vote if that's what the committee prefers.
So we need to vote on that, Madam Chair, just as a matter of process. So are you in favor of a roll call vote, yay or nay? Allison Clark? That is you, Allison? You need to vote?
I'm sorry, I was muted. Nay.
Yeah. No, are you in favor of a roll call vote? So you're saying nay. Okay, I just want to confirm. Okay. Patricia Culp, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Nay.
Ann Phillips, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Nay.
Shirley Nichols, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Nay.
Ophelia Lee, are you in favor of a roll call vote? Ophelia.
Someone is at the front door.
We'll come back to Ophelia. Jacqueline Rainey, are you in favor of a roll call vote? I thought she came late. No?
Yes, she's gone. She just muted.
Nay.
Thank you. Chief Sherbaum, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Nay.
Thank you. Lily Ponitz, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Yay.
Yay, thank you. Sharon Williams, are you in favor of a roll call vote? I'm voting nay. Hollis Turner, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
No.
So either Nicole or Amy, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Yay.
Nicole, thank you. Tori Tucker, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Nay.
Chief Macklemore, are you in favor of a roll call vote? Did he leave?
He's on.
He's on, okay. So Chief Macklemore, are you in favor of a roll call vote? Yay or nay?
I think I just saw his hand raised.
He's
Okay, that's
having
right.
reception issues, he said, but hopefully he'll
Okay.
be here.
So I will just put NA for now, because LaShawn Atwaters, are you in favor? Did she come late?
She's here.
Okay. Are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Abstain. I typically don't vote on these issues.
Fair enough. Jerry Basin, are you in favor of a roll call vote? Are you on mute?
Yeah, she's on mute.
Jerry is on mute. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can unmute her.
Okay, and let me see while we're
There we
doing
go.
that.
Nay.
Nay, thank you very much. Dustin Hillis, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
I don't believe Dustin Hillis is present this evening.
Okay, I thought he came late, sorry. And we still have LaShondra Burks as absent, so let me do the actual count.
LaShondra Burks
Well,
is
LaShondra's
actually on.
here.
Oh, she is, okay. I didn't, sorry about that. Are you in favor of a roll call vote?
Nay.
Thank you.
And then you'll want to circle back to Ophelia. I'm not sure if she was able to unmute herself.
Ophelia, are you in favor of a roll call vote?
I think she may be having a connection issue based on earlier. I
That's
think
fine.
Anna's saying something. Okay.
But Madam Chair, I think the nays have it. So we have 12 voting no, 1 abstentions and 2 yeses.
Okay. With that, I see
mean-
that there's, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm
Continue.
sorry. So that would mean we would now vote by by exception. And that would be for those who would want to vote for her to not be removed. And please note, everyone who spoke in favor of not removing Ms. Ponitz, that has been noted for the record. That includes Mr. Billingslea. So now this is the actual vote, and it's only 1 vote per community. And who would want to keep Ms. Ponitz on the committee? This is the vote by exception. And please let it be known.
Please let it be known. Raise your hand. Speak
Starlight.
loud and clear with your name.
Starlight Heights would like to keep Lily on the committee.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Lily's hand is raised. Please allow that to indicate her desire to stay on the committee as well.
That's correct.
Absolutely. I have Ms. Morato and Ms. Ponitz. Is there anyone
I'll
else?
give it just a moment to see if anyone else comes forward.
And then are we in this process, are we able to also ask who is abstaining from this vote?
No, we're by vote by exception would mean that you're only noting those who are who would like to keep you on the committee.
This just feels unfair to me because, like, for instance, LaShawn Atwaters just said she normally abstains from votes, but she'll be counted as a vote to take me off the committee essentially by voting by exception.
It really isn't that vote, and plus under roll, her abstention was noted because we did the roll already. So Madam Chair, are there any other hands up?
I do not see any other hands up. I see Lily. And then, of course, I have Nicole on behalf of Starlight Heights with the notation of Shaun Billingslea on behalf of Eastside Walk.
Okay, but that was earlier in the conversation. All those were already
Absolutely.
noted. For the formal vote, by exception, we have 2 notes, Ms. Morano, Ms. Ponitz.
Correct.
Okay.
And for Ms. Ponitz to remain on the committee, she would need 5 votes in favor, and we have not reached that number. And with that, the motion is so moved. I'm sorry.
We still have, but there are still several people who either abstained or did not vote at all. So I'm just very confused by how you're counting these votes.
We have quorum. We took a vote of people present. The motion is so moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Williams. With that, the committee has voted to remove Ms. Lily Ponitz from the committee. We do thank you for your service, and I understand your desire to have remained on the committee. And we ask that as we move forward, if there are opportunities to consult with you or opportunities to bring your expertise forward, we are open to hearing it, just as with any other committee member. With that, I believe we can move forward into our next order of business for the evening. Mr. Freeman, I will ask if you will move Ms. Ponitz over to the audience for the remaining portion of this meeting, if she wishes to stay on as opposed to as a panelist. And thank you all for moving through that process this evening.